Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tables of Russ. Tables of Russ.
Beans and meat.
Thumbs up as in...
Oh, sorry. Let's go.
Is that a thumbs up as in we're going, or thumbs up as in the intro music's? As in, okay,
We're
go as
getting
in
really
square.
good at this now,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
yeah.
We are so professional and so awesome at doing a podcast that we know when to start. So, welcome to the Square Go podcast. I'm your host, Robbie, aka Steed. With me, I've got Sandy, aka Yidders, aka Mojo Mackerel. To my right, I've got Ian, aka Money, aka Pom Pom Deluxe.
That's right.
Yeah, because occasionally we bump into people and it's like, oh yeah, I bumped into Mojo Mackerel. And I was like, yes, all these nicknames are sticking, so we'll come out with nonsense nicknames every episode so that we get called these names in the street. So today's episode is top 3 comic book adaptations.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, who are we sponsored by?
Oh, we're sponsored by...
Beans and meat.
Beans and meat.
Beans and meat.
Yeah.
And also another person.
Yeah,
Company.
Ming Sang. The Ming Sang on
Half portions for the win, by the way.
Yeah, Sinclair Street, Ming Sang. If you're after Chickadee China food, then
It's good.
yeah. Right, shall we continue? Yes.
Let's
go for my top 3 that I won't really remember my... Yeah, okay, I'm going to go in.
You're going to go first.
Yeah, if that's all right.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you, Mojo
yeah.
Mackerel, for that. And
Have you got honourable mentions and stuff as well?
yes,
Yeah,
I have.
I think I do have.
Yes, I have. Unless you want to start right to left, vice versa.
No, you're
All
the host.
I'm going to go for Watchmen. I'm going to go for Watchmen.
For a second there, I forgot that we're not talking about movies that we hate. And I was like, right, okay.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, Zack Snyder gets a lot of hate, but I really like what he done with Watchmen.
It's right there on my list of honourable mentions.
Okay.
so it's on my honourable
okay.
mentions as well.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, I really loved what he done. Like even in the opening credits. Sort
Yeah,
of,
I
like,
was gonna mention that.
like setting up the scenario, this sort of alternate future sort of thing.
Yeah.
And sort of before he got kind of
Bob
rubbish.
Dylan.
Yeah. Well, and even that, I remember watching that with my dad, actually, a flat I had in Morningside. And I was like, Dad, yeah, we should watch Watchmen. And I had a brilliant sound system at the time. And he was like, wow. And I was like, what is it? And he's like, he hadn't heard that Bob Dylan song since it came out. And he listened to it on like a crap tiny speaker on the radio. So for him hearing it through the sound system, he's like, loving it. So that's cool. Also got another Bob Dylan affiliation with movies with my dad as well, which is Sam Peckinpah.
Oh, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
Yeah. Billy's theme.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my dad both used to love that. Great song.
Amazing soundtrack. Yeah. Great movie as well.
Off on a wee tangent there. So
what was it about Watchmen that you loved so much?
Watching Men. The clue's in the title.
Alan Moore famously hated it. Not Watching Men, but he hated Watchmen.
Who's Alan Moore?
Alan Moore's the guy that wrote
He's
it.
this guy.
Right. Okay.
He's
I think
grumpy
it was,
bastard.
I think it was Dave Gibbons, the artist.
Yeah.
Because the ending's a bit different from the
comic.
Yeah.
The ending's good.
Actually, I forgot because I was probably drinking an alcohol or something. There's a new Watchmen animated series out.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good, actually.
There was also an HBO. Nah, you're not feeling that. It was weird. Yeah.
The Watchmen series.
Yeah. It was odd. I stuck with it and I watched it to the end, but it kind of went. It came and went, and when it went, nobody seemed to want it to come back.
Good.
It's like no one's looking for a second series. I don't think.
We didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
You were about to say something about Zack Snyder.
He gets so much hate these days, and I think his origins are somewhat great.
I agree with that.
Dawn of the Dead,
yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
300 he did as well.
300's great.
And then Sucker Punch, all these ideas and that. Like the trailer was like, wow, this looks amazing, and then it came out and I was like, this is all over the place. But it's one of these ones. The more I've watched it, the more I'm like, all right, yeah.
I've only watched it like 0.75 times.
and that was enough.
And that the one, the zombie one in LA.
In Vegas. Yeah.
Is it,
Where the chick wears a really questionable punk band T-shirt.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that actually. And everyone shot like F1 on the camera, so the depth of
horrible.
field is insane.
Yeah,
You're just like, why?
I
like
liked that one. I liked that
Really?
one. Yeah. Army of the Dead.
Army of
Army
the
of
Dead.
Dead.
Yeah, I did like that one.
I was
silly.
alright with it as well, yeah. But yeah, the cinematography annoyed me. Bautista's in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. We're a bit limited for time today. So, stuff it. Should we just move on?
Yeah,
Go
which
up
way
for
are you going?
Mr. Mojo Mackerel. Do you want to go next?
For me?
Yeah.
So mine's is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Okay.
yeah, it's about...
You just said in a previous episode how much you hate all the every Marvel film ever made, and
Yeah, I do, the new ones.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's been like 3 reiterations of it.
I mean, I'll give you that.
Iteration.
This is like a different universe of films, and
This is
Sony.
This is when it
stuff,
just started coming, when they just started doing it, really.
Yeah.
You know, back in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And
How
that
old would you be?
Nickelback song is...
It's great, isn't it?
And it's an origin story.
And it's an origin story.
It's just they've got the right tone for a comic book film.
I'm not attacking you.
Don't attack me. Well, attack me if you want.
We've had to since last episode, we've had to be put at opposite ends of the table here.
What are your thoughts on
I
that?
know we've given Sandys an empty can, so he can't hurl anything at me.
I think the best thing that came from that movie is the memes of Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, it's the Goblin.
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
It was on point, I think. For the I mean, it was good.
I liked it at the time, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's aged well.
Yeah, the third one
I
definitely
watched it
not.
with your brother recently.
And
Kirsten the second one's-
Dunst, don't get.
Don't get.
Yeah.
No.
She's a bit kind of, she's hard work.
I like it. I like everything. Like, again, I think when you're going to take a comic book film,
As a performer.
a comic book
Oh, right.
that's not...
Thought
you know
we'd
what I
maybe
mean?
met her at
It's not dark and
a film
serious.
fest.
It's not dark and serious, so don't make it dark and serious. And they didn't. And it just, the tone is right for
Yeah.
a comic book adaptation. I was always a Spider-Man fan when I was younger. He was my favourite superhero.
Yeah.
So I like it. They've done
Yeah,
it.
fair-
They've
fair-
done it.
fair play.
He's done it justice, and it's a crazy journey to come from making Evil Dead to Spider-Man. And he does a good
Yeah.
job. He did a good job.
Do you know, I went to see it at the cinema. I think I went to see it at the cinema in Glasgow, and I had no idea it was Sam Raimi. And so I was with Louise at the time, and we were watching it, and his name came up in the credits, the opening credits. I'm like, and from that point on, I was I think paying more attention to it. And his DNA's all over it. Like
Yeah.
you say, it is a weird.
Got a cameo from Bruce in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got like Donnell Rawlings, stand-up comedian. There's like
Is
loads
there-
of like famous New Yorkers.
Was there not Macho Man Randy Savage? Is he not in it?
Is he?
Yeah, do you know?
He's in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he one of the wrestlers?
Oh,
That's it.
yes.
Bonesaw.
So he is.
Good band from Aberdeen as well. Shout out to Bonesaw.
All right.
All right.
Right, that was my choice.
Moving on
It's a good
to
Maybe a bit underwhelming. Sorry about that.
My number 3 pick is Hellboy, Dark Horse Comics.
Couldn't get into it.
and
Couldn't get into it. Oh my god! It's like, I think for me, the reason it's my number 3 pick is because lots of practical effects. Guillermo del Toro. I thought the casting's fucking great as well. Ron Perlman, you know, and Fish Guy.
I need to rewatch it.
have you seen the second one?
No.
The second one is phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
the troll market and everything, all the
Yeah.
effects and
Yeah.
everything. Like it's sort of like a take on the Star Wars Cantina. Rather than Cantina, it's a whole underground sort of city, and it's just all these weird, freaky creatures and everything, and it's just awesome.
Not since Labyrinth, I think, have I seen that many like practical puppets and creatures and everything. And yeah, and that's why I kind of loved those films. Is I thought there's a slight goofiness to them, and there's definitely a comic book feel. There's a slight dark edge as well. But a great like the story. I'd never read the comics, but the story, the sort of relationship between John Hurt and Ron Perlman was really sweet. And I think it was just good storytelling.
Because I think from what I've read of the comics, there isn't so much a big story. It's
Yeah.
all little short stories, you know,
Right.
like the Urwilly or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a page worth.
Okay,
You know, and it's
yeah.
sort of very humorous, and you know, like he'll defeat the evil, whatever it is, and like something funny happens at the end, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if the Neil Marshall one was more geared towards that. And
Yeah. Neil Marshall he wasn't complimentary about
yeah, he hated
the
it
stuff that
himself.
happened when they were
I think
shooting
he got shafted by the production company or whatever.
I think I watched it and I think it didn't leave that much an impression on me. It was a shame. David Harbour's like a pretty good choice, but at the same time, I think Ron Perlman was put out by that as well. Like,
yeah. Is there not another Hellboy coming
there
out?
is, yeah.
Is it
And it looks quite promising, I have to say. Like, I know it's difficult because Guillermo del Toro has got such a. I guess it's like when Tim Burton made Batman. You know, he's got such a style, and he's also that's kind of what he's famous for is that sort of creating that dark folk fantasy world, and he did it so well. So the idea of someone else doing it, I have no idea, but it looks like it's tonally right, you know, and it looks like it's stripped right down as well. So we'll see.
I need to put that in the rewatch pile then.
But the second one definitely. The first one, it's all right.
I like the first one. The weird thing about the first
bad-
one is the young agent guy who is obviously just there as a narrative device so that you can bring the audience into this world. You know, because otherwise he really serves no purpose, and he doesn't pop up in the second one because you don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
The baddie dude is pretty effing cool though.
Try to remember.
The sort of
Oh yeah.
the one with the swords and stuff.
Yeah.
Plus,
But
it starts in Scotland, if you remember correctly.
No, I don't remember that.
Z-Nazis invading, is it? not
it's like an
Orkney.
island.
It's
No,
an
but
island,
it's
yeah.
it's sort of Hebridean Island or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Was the sort of Hellboy origin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always used to
Alright, I'm
think
sold
that
on
guy was
rewatching it.
Tom Cruise for some reason. There's something about him. He sounds like Tom Cruise, and he's got that Tom Cruise face, but I don't think it is.
Hellboy 2 has one of the Bros guys.
That's right.
Goss is in it.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Cool. Good choice. Right. Shall I move on to my numero deux?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm just going to say this because I love this film so much. It's the story of Ricky O.
Oh yeah. Is that? I didn't realize it was a. Or maybe I didn't realize it was.
Yeah.
Is that manga then, or?
I think there is a manga version. If for you, those of you viewing, listening at home, the story of Ricky O, I think is a 1991 martial arts movie, an Asian one set in a prison, and it's just the fight scenes are just insane, over the top, and like insane blood and guts. And it's just,
I've got it on my watch list on Amazon
you still
Prime,
not
but
seen
I've
it?
still not
Oh,
seen
You
it.
say
man.
it's live action?
Yeah.
It's live action.
I've never seen it.
No, I mean that's the one. Me and Steve have got the
Yeah.
story of Ricky O t-shirts, and it's just bonkers. Like some of the gore and stuff, it's just insane. So any chance I get to big up Ricky O, I'll do it. So that's why it's my number two.
Yeah, I have
Okay,
to check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. I feel like I've not watched anything. Everything that gets brought
But
up.
there's some weird stuff in Ricky O. Like the prison boss has got like a shelf of. I'm pretty sure it's just all porn, like in his office.
Sounds
It's not like a kids
confiscated
movie.
contraband. Yeah.
It's definitely not a kid's movie.
Right,
The
okay.
amount of blood and guts in it.
All
It's
right.
like, he's punching through someone's spine and pulling out guts and all that crap.
Ah, it sounds
It's-
class.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
So that's number 2.
Yeah, the story of Ricky O. Check it out if you haven't already.
Okay, mine's is V for Vendetta.
All right.
Also
okay.
a good choice.
Yeah.
This is another film I didn't like.
Oh, you maybe need to rewatch it.
Maybe I do. I have seen it a couple of times. I think I don't know why I didn't really connect with it. It was stylishly weird, but yeah, Natalie Portman's good, but yeah, I don't
Natalie Portman's more than good.
It's Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
know. Sorry,
she's very
Touched
hot.
her nerve.
Very hot with a bald head as well.
I was going to say, even with a bald
yeah,
head.
Very hot with a bald head.
Yeah, okay.
But no, it's the Wachowski. Oh, I've lost my headphones. The Wachowski brothers, or whatever they're identifying as
Wachowskis.
now.
Oh,
The Wachowskis.
was it them that made it?
They produced it, I think.
It's just
And I think it's the last thing that they did that I actually liked at all, or were involved with that I liked at all. It borrows a lot from 1984,
yeah,
and if you've seen the Christian Bale one,
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium.
I love
Yeah.
Equilibrium.
Very, very tonally similar to those two films.
Yeah.
But yeah, just great. Just a great film. Loads of great action, great storyline. I love the message as well. Burn it down. Burn it to the fucking ground. That's the message. And yeah, great film. Great. I've never read the comic or the graphic novel.
Yeah.
And what's his passes the baddie?
Um,
Hugo Weaving.
yeah.
He's the goodie.
Right.
Yeah,
that's it?
yeah, he's
the anti-hero.
positioned as the baddie at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean. But is it not long as shit? Is it not like 3 hours long or
No,
something?
no, I don't
it's
think so. Normal feature length, I think.
Okay.
John Hurt's the big dictator.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Who played? I can't remember the name.
He was
of the
in
main
1984
character.
as well.
Yeah,
wasn't
he was in
he?
1984.
And Hellboy.
Wilfred.
Connections here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So after your number 2, do some honourable mentions. and
Yeah,
then-
let's do it. Yeah. So my number 2 is Old Boy, which is
Snap.
manga.
Was that a comic book?
I did not
Yeah.
realise that.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
have been on my list as well. Maybe then.
So there was a manga. Obviously, I'm talking about the American remake because I don't know what was going on with the Korean film.
Yeah, garbage. Only when they brought it to America did it become any good.
Do you know, originally I read that it was going to be Spike Lee and it was going to be Will Smith. They were going to remake Old Boy, but it turned out to be, I can't remember who directed it, but it turned out to be Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Which is all right, but still.
It is okay. And what's his name is the baddie in that, the South African guy.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he is really good. Charlton Copley.
Yeah, he's really good.
And so yeah, they had some of the right ingredients, but the actual, obviously, it's flawless almost. That movie. I remember watching it knowing absolutely nothing about it, other than this brief synopsis that a guy gets kidnapped and is held captive, and then a revenge story. It basically sounded like the Count of Monte Cristo, but in a kind of in a weird setting. But yeah, the fight scenes. I think we've spoken about it, haven't we? On an
One-man
earlier
army
podcast.
one.
Yeah, the one-man army. Yeah.
You're making me think I've got the wrong version here. I've got the one by Park Chan-wook.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I was only kidding when
Yeah, we're being sarcastic about the remake.
That is the only version of Old Boy. That and obviously the manga comic. But yeah, what a film. I revisited it recently.
If you can't watch subtitles, obviously there's people who can't see subtitles, and that's different. But if you can't sit and watch a film with subtitles, then you don't deserve to see the film. We need to stop remaking films in a Western setting for people.
Would you say that's a big part of why certain foreign films that are hits are remade for people that are too lazy?
100%, yeah.
Well, yeah, that can be the only reason.
Let the right one in, speak no evil.
Yeah, The Ring,
I
The Grudge.
subtitles.
Because they're remade immediately. They're remade on the basis that they were successful, but they
Yeah.
would be more successful for an
They
English
remade
audience.
Wreck as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which
And-
you shouldn't have, but I was going to say, if for dyslexic viewers...
That's what I was saying. I did disclaimer before that. I said there's some people who cannot physically read subtitles or
But I
audio
mean, nowadays,
description.
yeah, you tend to have alternate audio tracks as well. So
You can get it dubbed.
yeah,
or watch
exactly.
it
You,
dubbed.
you can have an English language version, but in the original.
I
format.
remember watching Brotherhood of the Wolf. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
But I guess the first time I watched it dubbed. I presumed it was
right.
such a popular film, kind of, that I presumed that's how it was. And then I watched it fairly recently, and I was like, wait a minute.
I want to rewatch that. Where did you find it? Illicit sources. So.
I think I've got it on DVD.
I'd love to go back to that.
You ever heard of it, Sandy? It's Vincent
surprise.
Cassell
And I think it was your man that we spoke about as well that directed Amelie and appears in Fifth Element.
Kurowitz.
Matthew, him.
Kurowitz. I think
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
Kurowitz. or
Something like that,
yeah.
but it's
Kassovitz.
Kassovitz.
yeah, it's kind of a weird film. It's set in 1800s, 1700s or something in
Yeah.
France, and it's like these two swashbuckling dudes,
Yeah.
and they're sort of in charge of a castle,
But do you
there's
know? Yeah,
a werewolf,
Swashbuckling
so-
dudes.
you know, your favourite.
Errol Flynn in that. Yeah, but you know, there's a basis of I wouldn't say based on true story, but it has a basis in French history because there was this creature called the Beast of Gévaudan, and it was described as a wolf or described as a wolf-like creature that terrorized this village, and this was in kind of the south of France, and literally killed hundreds of people. And it was such a big issue that the King of France at the time had to dispatch hunters to try and kill it. And from various descriptions, they don't think it was a wolf. They think it was like a hyena or something like that.
Right.
But it's
you just reminded me, like, it's kind of disguised.
Yeah, there's
Spoilers,
a lot of,
but it's
a sort of crypto beast, but yeah, with adaptations.
Like a were hyena.
Like a weird, yeah.
That's from Anchorman too, by the way.
Chicken of the cave. Anyway, right. So we've massively digressed. I don't even know where we are.
Yeah,
Old boy.
I almost went into a different episode being Anchorman. There's another one that I don't get Anchorman. Don't get it.
I love it. Right. No, that's
don't get it.
We're
Even off camera, guys. If you're watching at home,
Gary's just going to stop recording, cut the feed.
Yeah, even Gary's giving me evils. Snap. Right, time for some honourable mentions. I even thought certain TV shows that have been adapted from comics are an honourable mention. Preacher's okay. I mean, Preacher's one of my favourite comics
I've seen it
ever. And there's certain parts of the TV show works and some of it doesn't. But essentially with a comic book, it's Preachers all over the world. You know what I mean? Like, there's like, oh, right, so we go to whichever corner of the country or world for this. Do you know what I mean? And you just draw it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you were to film a version of that, it's like you're kind of constrained to, it seemed like each season was kind of relegated to one location almost.
Who's in Preacher?
Dominic Cooper.
Oh yeah, Dominic Cooper. Yeah. I kind of like had a vague mental image in my head, and it's him. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I think it needs to be redone already. Just stick to the comic.
Is it not new though?
It's fairly new. Yeah, it's done its run. I mean, in my eyes, there's like 10 books, and about like book 7 or something, he like gives up his quest and goes to this like hick village and becomes sheriff. And it's
spoilers.
But it's like, well, not really. But it's like they've used that as the whole first season, but like slowly introduced the characters, and then like I think that the end and shot of season 1 is the start of the comic. So, but it kind of introduces stuff slowly, so it kind of gets better from then, and from a point of view of being a fan of the comics. I guess I'd recommend it. I imagine if you've not read the comics, you'd probably think this is really good.
Yeah, that's always the problem with these adaptations. You've got to please the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
I've got some deep cut for honourable mentions, and they're kind of like one and done rather than episodic things. History of Violence, which came from a comic, which I think is a great film.
Yeah,
wow.
It is good.
I didn't know that came from a comic.
Edge of Tomorrow, also known as All You Need Is Kill. It was a manga comic.
Yeah.
Is that the one Tom Cruise dies all the time?
Yeah,
that's good. I watched that again recently.
So good.
They need to do a remake with James Corden.
Yes, they should.
The Boys.
Yes, The Boys is very good.
Also written by Garth Ennis, who wrote Preacher.
It's tremendous.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to lose it in the first half of the new season, and then they clawed it back. And I fucking love it. So good. Homelander is just what a character. Happy
as well is another.
Happy's great.
I haven't seen Happy.
You know what, man? First season is tremendous, and that's Grant Morrison, another Scottish writer. Yeah. Nice. Man, I guess you got Mark Miller as well. Actually, another Scottish dude.
Yeah, Kick-Ass and stuff.
Kick-Ass.
And the
Wanted.
Gentleman.
The one with the dude.
Kingsman.
Yeah. Kingsman's got some.
I've got another one. Dread.
Yeah.
Did a decent job of it.
That is my number one.
Snap.
Oh.
Like, I've said this so many times. You've got all these crappy comic book movies getting made all the time, Marvel stuff, whereas they're just rehashing everything. They need to make more 2000 AD stuff.
Oh,
there's a plethora of stuff there. I mean, you do have Duncan Jones currently making Rogue Trooper, and you've got Dread, but there's tons of stuff like Nemesis the Warlock, ABC Warriors.
ABC Warriors would be tremendous, and Sam Slade as well, Robo Hunter, I think would be good.
Enough, yeah.
I think they just Hollywood views that all as too niche.
Maybe.
And or is it because it was never massive in the States? Is that maybe
Yeah,
one
I
of the
think so.
problems?
Yeah, it's probably
Is it-
aligned with the size of the fan base, because that's the whole reason they probably go for these adaptations, because they say, well, we've got an audience already out there, but how many people are there that remember 90s 2000 AD? You know. But yeah, the quality of the storytelling, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I thought Dredd was just perfect for me anyway, for how you
Stallone
should
was
do a
great
Judge
in it.
Dredd story. Stallone was amazing, and the comic relief from Rob Schneider.
It's Rob Schneider in the original, is it? So is Ewan Bremner.
Yeah.
He's one of the hillbillies
I
in the
think-
cave, like the cannibals in the cave.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure.
forgot about that whole sequence.
Is he Mean Machine? Is he? My turn to try and grab a fly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the set. I thought the setting was good. It felt like, I think, South Africa, but Mega City 1 nonetheless. And the whole kind of, basically it's the raid, but with lawgivers. The ordnance in that movie, like when they're just blowing the shit out of the tower block, and they get the big minigun out at one point as well, just cutting through concrete like butter. It's just so good. Like, and I thought, in particular, what it did a good job of was, obviously Dredd's a character that doesn't go through any transition. He doesn't learn anything. He doesn't change.
The Dirty Harry effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he can't change, because he's effectively supposed to be.
It's just a fruit fly, man.
I know. He's effectively supposed to be a character who is already completely rigid. You know, he can't possibly kind of learn anything, but he does go through a little bit of a learning process, because he lets Anderson away with some minor faults or something in order to pass her probation. To be fair, she goes through a lot in the film, but yeah, I thought it was a piece of class work.
To me, like if they were to redo Dredd or Dredd Part 2 or that, it needs to be the Judge Death stuff. Like that stuff was just like unbelievable.
Definitely,
That was. It didn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
But a TV series would totally work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? There's so many different stories, different characters and stuff.
Yeah.
That a TV series would be awesome. I've got a Judge Dredd versus Aliens as well, actually, and it's just carnage.
I remember reading the Judgment on Gotham
Right.
back in the day, and it was really good as well. Yeah, some great crossovers.
Yeah.
What else
Okay,
do I
so
have?
we've spoiled your number one.
Yeah, but
All right, another honourable mention. 300.
yeah, I had that down as my honourable
yeah,
mentions.
Yeah, I've got a real soft spot for that because I
Yeah.
did get to see it in Man's Chinese Theatre in Los Angeles. So that was super cool to see that,
Yeah.
and didn't really know what to expect. Went in there and it was just like, that was awesome. You know, and it was the first of its kind using that, fight scenes
Ramp
before that.
speed and stuff, yeah.
were all sort of like super fast and stuff, but this was the first of its kind, really like slowing it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
number one.
There you go.
Oh, was it?
It is. It's a sublime looking film and a good story. Like, I had Akira as well as a pretty solid adaptation from the manga comic.
Yeah,
And it's an absolute stone cold classic.
yeah. Akira is good.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. How do you all feel about that?
I think it's a good bit of filmmaking. I wasn't really like that sold on the story. If you'd even say there was too much of a story going on, but
There's a story. He's got to fight 7 evil ex-boyfriends.
yeah, it's wacky but
I think it's tremendous. Like I think it's
I was going to make a comment about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but
as always, Edgar Wright's an amazing editor,
yeah.
and he's great.
With that
The filmmaker.
Flowers.
Ramona Flowers was Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yeah, there's a great cast in it actually. You've got Chris Evans pops up. You've got the vegan police played by the guy that punched Spence. What's his name?
oh, Thomas Jane.
Yeah, Thomas Jane, and trying to remember the other guys. Oh, his name's on the tip of my tongue, but
There was the
eggs milk
the
bitch.
Superman, the guy that originally played Superman.
Yeah, Brandon Ruth. Yeah, he's in it. Aye.
Yeah.
So you're like, What?
Yeah.
He didn't originally play
I was
Superman.
going to say Christopher Reeve.
Aye, but like the new incarnation of Superman.
One of the new.
Was that the guy that kind of looked like Christopher
in between
Reeve?
Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve? Yeah.
Christopher Lee is Superman. That would be pretty awesome.
Man of Steel.
No, it wasn't Man of Steel. It was Superman Returns or something. It was called. Yeah, and I think they only made one film of it. It was it not the one where Kevin Spacey is Lex Luthor? Is that not?
I lose track because there's so many.
Yeah,
They just keep redoing it. Just
yeah,
keep
they're all
redoing
piled
everything
in. Yep.
into infinity.
Yeah, and Kieran Culkin was in that as well. Yeah.
So will I do my number one then?
You not got any honourable?
Well, I
mentions?
did. We've just been doing them.
All right.
Sorry.
Shut the
My
fuck.
honourable mention was Ian's number one, which is Dread.
Oh snap! Yes, that means no one's got my one.
Well, I might. I don't know, but I doubt it.
All right.
I might have it as an honourable mention
It's
as well.
not number
I do have a
one
couple more, but
because it's the best per se of the ones that I've picked. But yeah,
Snap. That sounds like my one.
right. Blade.
ooh, a Marvel film. You love
Yeah.
Marvel.
There was a time where I did like Marvel.
Yeah. If Blade didn't come out and be as successful, Marvel would have.
Yeah, it paved the way for
Yeah.
everything, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And it's got everything. It's got vampires.
And it's an 18, and it's pasty.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
very pasty.
Doesn't
Rather-
have anything else, just as vampires.
Vampires and Wesley Snipes.
And his car.
And
Come
Chris
on,
Christopherson.
His car.
That's the first DVD I ever bought.
There you go.
I-
Yeah.
I saw that in a cinema in Glasgow with Louise, and now I'm thinking I didn't see Spider-Man with Louise in a cinema in Glasgow. But yeah, definitely saw Blade. I remember watching Blade in a cinema in Glasgow.
I remember like watching it to death at one point. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just loved it so much. I've not watched it in ages though. I need to rewatch it.
In
Yeah,
fact,
it's
do you
very
know
cool.
what? My early filmmaking, this just came back to me. Like crappy VHS-C camcorder, and a lot of the time what I would use for sound stuff, because I didn't know how to edit at the time, a lot of the time I'd get a Walkman and put one of the headphones in front of the mic
Yeah, I've done that.
of my Handycam, and one of the, like, for making crappy short horror skits that I used to do, one was a cassette of the Blade soundtrack, like the score stuff, which I need to revisit. Actually, I've not listened to that in.
Oh, for the music.
Yeah.
Aye.
I'm sure it should have
Just
had
get a
some.
tape player and hold it next to the camera.
Yeah. I'm sure I had some, like, we chucked a dummy off the multi-story or something, and then there was like a weird bit, and the battery was running out.
You're
in
like,
the
got to keep
Walkman.
rolling because we need to get to the end of the song.
and like I hadn't any idea that the battery was starting to run out.
Oh, so
the music's like
we're-
like really going super slow, and like somebody was like watching it back, and I was like, "Oh, I really like the effect you did there. Is that like the sound of a Hoover?" I'm like, it's like fuck. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, Blade.
Blade, yeah, good
Yeah.
choice.
Yes, I concur. All right, so I chose my number one because it's a good film. It might not be my best sort of comic book adaptation, but I like the fact that people probably wouldn't be like, "Oh snap, that's come from a comic." You know, it's Road to Perdition.
Oh, I didn't know that came from a comic.
Exactly. Yes, if I got you guys, then that's good.
Yeah.
Did
Do,
not
do you know what I mean? Like people, because people, I mean, you know, now comic book movies are the thing and the cool and everything. But like, you know, 15 years ago, if you said to someone, read comics, you'd just be like, nerd child or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But now it's sort of kind of cool to like nerd culture or whatever,
Yeah.
and to read comics, graphic novels. But to me, that was the sort of a response, a defense to be like, well, look, you know, not all comics are, you know, superheroes in tights and really nerdy. Do you know what I mean? This is like
Yeah.
a serious film.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, who was the creepy assassin in that film? 'Cause-
Jude Law.
yes, that
Yeah,
was it.
and he took photos of his victims and
yeah.
stuff.
For some reason, I was suddenly thinking, oh, it's like Tobey Maguire. We're going back to Spider-Man, and I'm suddenly realizing I'm thinking of Sin City, and it's Elijah Wood who plays this like creepy
That's
assassin
an
character.
honourable mention though, isn't it?
Sin City. Yeah, we should have mentioned that. We'll come back to that.
Road to Perdition, yeah, it's good.
yeah.
Good choice. I mean, like, what's his name? Paul Newman, like.
Yeah, Paul
Bullshit.
Newman. Yeah, and Thomas Newman soundtrack as well. One of my favourite composers. for movies. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks is pretty good in it.
Tom Hanks is not too shabby. Yeah.
And some classic 1930s.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
looks incredible. Like I watched it not that long ago, and I was paying a lot of attention to all of the period detail and stuff. And like all those. Yeah,
you can't beat a
cars
bit
and
Tommy
shit.
gun action, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, it's a good story. It's really well done. Yeah.
But yeah, Sin City. How could we forget that? You know, like that was a huge one, because that had been tried to be adapted into a movie like several times, but always just failed. And I think Rodriguez made the opening scene like all of his own back, and then took it to companies, be like, look, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to look, and then they were like, okay, perfect.
And was
let's
that
do it.
off the back of 300?
No, I think it was
Paving the way, or
before
was that
300,
before?
I thought.
Because it's
Can't
very
remember, though.
similar like style, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like shooting it all green screen and.
Right enough, yeah.
And when I think about like doing a comic book adaptation, like when we were talking about doing Hate for Adrian, it's the first thing I thought about doing. Just like 300 it, just shoot it all in a green screen.
Yeah.
Because it makes it all look like it's an actual cell of a comic.
Yeah, but then Sin City's maybe a closer match tonally because it's noir style and like really stark blacks and whites and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Tremendous. So many things I need to rewatch.
The only other, there was a couple other honourable mentions I had, but they were just like, there's a Tom Cruise. I've mentioned Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion as well, which I think is a really good film. If you've ever seen it, if you like the sci-fi.
Is that the Tom Cruise one as well?
Yeah,
Is that
with
from
Morgan Freeman.
Is that from a comic?
Yes.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Is that the one with the weird sort of ball gun turret things?
Yeah,
that
the
fly
wee
around?
things that are flying about. Yeah,
Red ball.
really, really nice production design. Like the because they actually built those things. They built the ships for real, not for flying about. Their visual effects and that. But there was that, and basically Deadpool was the only other ones I had.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Deadpool's great.
Deadpool.
The first two. Yeah.
It's a shame they never made a third one.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up, because we've got Bonzo and the banjo strings coming in next, a band in the studio, so they'll be making a racket with their death reggae, so you won't be able to hear us. Which is probably a good thing, because we'll probably just chat such nonsense that will get cancelled or offend you.
We need to get down the Ming Sang anyway, because
that's right.
ravenous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starving.
I need to
Sounds
murder
like
my
a good
hunger.
idea. Yeah.
Right, put a ribbon on it then.
Yes.
Just,
Cheers for
Mr.
watching. Don't
Weinstein.
forget to like and subscribe, as wanky as that sounds. But
Smash that like and subscribe
Yeah,
button.
smash it.
Absolutely batter it.
smash it like a
curb stomp it.
Waitrose avocado.
But only press it once,
Only press
because
it
if
once.
you press it twice, it'll unlike
I'll
it again.
undo all that goodness.
So I don't get the whole smash thing. But please subscribe, please like, and just
Press
leave
it
a comment,
really
because it really
aggressively.
helps the channel.
Report it for being too good.
Yeah.
Remember, Ming Sang.